the number one thing that I would tell people who want to run for office is when people say fundraising is hard, believe them.
Hi, Councilmember Balcombe. Thanks for coming to talk to us today. We have Alexa to interview you today, so I will hand it off to her.
Great.
Okay. Hi, so my first question to you is, what has inspired you to do what you do?
I've been active in my community for a very long time. I've been in Germantown for almost 30 years now, and I started out as just a community advocate, advocating for resources in the community, and then I just became more and more engaged. And so professionally, I've been active in the community. I worked for the county for a small period of time, and then I worked at Black Rock Center for the Arts. But then for the past 17 years, I worked at the Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce, really advocating for resources in the Up County. And so this just seemed like a natural progression of that service.
How did you know this was your calling? How do you know you wanted to work with this?
I don't know that I would ever have said it was my calling. I think that it's just, I've always been interested in service. In community activism. And I felt that I had some success. I feel like I have a unique voice. And so I thought that it would be, a good idea.
Have you faced any barriers as a woman in this job?
So I think that, yes, not in the job. So, although I face, sometimes when I speak, I'm not particularly heard, whereas a male colleague might say the same thing and all of a sudden they're heard. That happens, but that's part of being a woman and a professional. I would assume any woman, and so that does happen, so there are times. It happened to me just the other day, and I was in a meeting with a male colleague, and the conversation kept physically looking at my male colleague. And not looking at me, and I called him on it. My male colleague was fabulous and kept trying to point the discussion more globally, but I called the individual on it, and he understood.
Okay. I heard that your main goal is to strengthen business climate and provide more jobs for the community. How do you plan doing that?
I wouldn't say that is one of my primary goals. I would say another one is to get resources to the Up County. And that's in both of those cases, just continually calling attention to it. I'm on the Economic Development Committee. And so I'm trying to encourage legislation and budget for business. The county is doing a business resource, a new business center, and I've been actively advocating for funding for that center, and I will continue to support that. I also sit on the Montgomery County Economic Development Committee, corporation, as the council liaison. I'm the liaison for workforce development, so working with the college and the University's Shady Grove. So what we do is legislate and pass budget. And so I'm going to continue to look at that.
Is there any other main goal that you have in mind?
Well, resources, making sure that the Up County community has the resources we need. So that includes transportation, housing, recreation, and then also from a perspective of making sure that we have safe, that we're a safe community and identifying resources to the community.
Mhm. What made you want to start doing this? What inspired you to start?
I think the Up County hasn't had a very strong voice.
Mhm.
Well, of course, I respect people who've done this before. It's continually being our head against the wall. And my predecessors, they had the same goal of continually trying to get our voices heard. So I don't, I want to make sure that that's, I respect the people who've done this job before me.
Mhm.
But I also think that, the business voice was lacking. I add that voice, and I certainly add the Up County voice.
Would you say it was hard getting started and getting where you are now?
It is hard. Getting elected is a hard thing. I did it twice. I mean, I did it, I tried twice. I succeeded once. And it is hard. You have to raise a lot of money, and it's a full-time job running for office, and it's difficult when you already have a very, very, very full-time job to do the both. So yes, it's very difficult. But I have a very strong resume in terms of my actions, and I feel like I was a very compelling candidate because of all the work that I've done in the past, and I'm a well-known advocate for my community.
What was the most challenging part of your whole journey?
Raising money.
The money.
Raising money is hard. Unfortunately, you have to do that. And so I think that was the difficult, and I don't like doing it. So
with the raising money, what was some of your strategies you used to raise the money, since it was like hard?
yeah, so there's a science behind it. I had a lot of help. So you basically ask everyone for money. And so the second time around, this second time I ran was so much easier because I already had a database of people who had given me money 4 years prior. And so that was just so much easier. I also enrolled in the public finance system the second time around, which made it a lot easier in terms of I got a match for county residents who donated. I got a matching funds from the county, which was significant. So it was, but the underlying aspect was I had a database of people who gave me money, and so from the very beginning, when I started my campaign, I asked those people for money, and they gave me money. Yeah.
Of your journey, is there anything different you would have done?
I don't think so. I think that 4 years ago I ran at large. That was a pretty big task, and I didn't succeed. But I think that the reason that I won the second time around was because I had the experience of the first time around. Such a huge learning curve. Running for office is so hard, and the learning curve is so steep that and many people don't win the first time they run. Most people don't win the first time they run. A lot of people only run one time. They run one time and lose, and they call it a day. So even though I lost the first time around, I think I would continue to do it. I would have done it again, because if I hadn't run and lost, who's to say that I would have won this time around?
What made you want to run the second time and not give up like others do?
So two important things. One is that I didn't want all that knowledge to go to waste. And I still felt that I was a compelling candidate. But the major difference is that the first time was an at-large race and the second time was a district race. And so it's much, much easier because you're not running the whole county. And I knew the data. That was the beauty of running the first time. I knew that in 2018, I won most of the county, but certainly, but not the Silver Spring, Tacoma Park area, right? So, which is significant in running a race. But I won in my district handily. So I knew that I would be a compelling candidate the second time around. And it would be a lot easier to just run in the district.
Is there anything you would tell people that want to run for politics or anything?
Yeah, so it's a skill set, and there's a lot of trainings. There are books and training, and so I went through a Emerge Maryland boot camp. I did a 1-day training. I did a couple day trainings. Did a training with Emily's List. I did a training with Emerge. I did a boot camp with Emerge. So I did do training. I would say the number one thing that I would tell people who want to run for office is when people say fundraising is hard, believe them, because I think that's where people fall down. There are so many fabulous people out there that run for office, but they don't take the fundraising piece seriously.
Okay, that was one of my last questions. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thanks so much, Councilmember. And I know you have busy days, so I'll let you get to it. So thanks.